Welcome to the latest podcast of Popup Economy. Today's feature is a pop-up restaurant in Shoreditch, East London. I was walking up Great Eastern Street towards the Old Street roundabout in East London on an early Friday evening when I caught a glimpse of a big white tent tucked away in a car park off Rivington Street. The sign read Ronnie Saunders Diners Union, and I was curious to know what it was all about. After a brief conversation with a security man, I was told that this was some kind of temporary restaurant. Here are Cameron and Roland from the Popup, the Diners Union.
So Diners Union is a pop-up, or what we call a semi-permanent restaurant location in Shoreditch. We're in the old site of the Red Market, number 5 Rivington Street, and we offer 5 courses for £15 and bring your own booze. Me and Roland are both Londoners by birth. Wanted to do something to help the community, and that's what I really wanted to jump on, was the opportunity to help people out, and this is a good way to do it, bring people together by food.
It's quite a funny story. I used to do sort of underground restaurants with Cameron, and then we did one called School Dinners, and it was just sort of me on my own cooking for about 60 people, doing 3 courses for a tenner, and you just come around to the school I lived in, and it was really nice food, and I always wanted to take it places because it was sort of social dining experience, if you like, and I got caught doing it by the guy that owned the building, and he said he's going to throw me and my girlfriend out. I invited him round for dinner, cooked him a nice meal, and then he ended up giving us some money and introducing us to the guys here at Red Gallery, and that was it really. Yeah, now it's become the Diners Unions.
So how did this venture come about?
It's a really collaborative effort. It's not me and Roland championing this place, it was all our own hard work. It's been a lot of hard work from a lot of good people. We've had a lot of donations made to us, so equipment. If you look all around you, this is all an old iPad advert, so we try and stay sort of carbon neutral where possible, and it was a good example of someone who kind of really bought into what we were doing and said, well, we haven't got much to offer, but we've got this massive billboard, and there was kind of enterprising people as part of the founding family who were able to go, well, we can turn this into the sides of the marquee.
Tell us a bit more about Diners Union.
So there's about 6 chefs every weekend. We've got a house band who come called Trio. We've got 3 front of house staff. I've got myself that kind of just floats around saying hello to people, because I've normally got a bottle of cider in my hand, just want to talk. And then we've got kind of people who come and do the electrics and check the electrics every week. Then we've got on-site technicians who will make sure that everything's standing up. So there's quite a big team, right?
It sounds like Roland also has quite a lot to do.
So our week basically is ordering, preparing food, marketing, making sure nothing's broken in here, and just getting set up for service, and that's sort of the week. And then also the planning what we're doing next year, which takes up a good chunk of the time. So we come up with our menus, do our ordering, we plan how we're going to cook it, because we're pretty much cooking off of the 2 worst ovens in the world, sort of 3 pans this big, and we're cooking for 500 people with about 10 trays. And we start cooking on Wednesday, have it ready for Friday, and then about 6:30 people start turning up and we serve food. So each week definitely is a struggle. It's I'm used to some of the most brutal kitchens in the world, but this has definitely been one of the biggest challenges of my life.
Despite the amount of planning and organization that goes into the dinners, I was surprised how much this pop-up restaurant manages to convey guests the feeling that you've just popped in to a spontaneously planned dinner. It seems like the neighbors from next door just decided to play a bit of music, and your friend, Roland, who happens to be a chef, is cooking up some haute cuisine just for the fun of it. But Diners Union faces big challenges. As with every young business, profit is a concern, and costs are minimized where possible. I wonder if this is why the food gets served on school trays.
I like the canteen style. I think it creates a different sort of expectation of your restaurant, like you get this tray and you get your food, and so you're like, wow, this food's amazing. That was the tray concept, really. We
very much live and die by the people that book and turn up. So in terms of forecasting and being able to say, we've got X in the bank and we've got X coming in because of kind of revenue forecasting, it's very difficult. We've been hurt in the past by people who have booked, tables of 10 or 15 and not turned up. So now we've had to kind of instill a policy where people, more than 7 have to kind of pay half in advance and stuff. Yeah, it's something that it's taken a while to get right. I think when we started on August the 31st, I think what we had to kind of find was a happy medium between portion size and cost, right? But I think we the fact that it's a kind of fixed menu, and that you're probably going to get roughly 200 people a weekend, you can kind of budget your food that way, and it's a lot more kind of economical. And it's not a hugely profitable enterprise. but we're not doing it for the profit, right? So we're a kind of social enterprise that puts all the money back into either the trainee scheme or the restaurant and trying to structure it for winter and stuff, right? So.
Without knowing who the late Ronnie Saunders is, I begin to understand what impact he has on this business.
It's named after my granddad, and I thought we've got to do something good with this. Just decided we wanted to, honour him and start training people to become self-employed, and they can train other people. It sort of passes it on. Ronnie is, everyone that knows him remembers him. Is a legend. He had this sort of outlook on life. He had this sort of Bill and Ted view of like everyone should just be excellent to each other, and the world gets along. Everyone should just be straight talking. He was such a big character, a great dancer, always throwing parties. I took on the name, and I thought I wanted to honour him by, creating a charity essentially, which is where I want this to go into next year.
I asked Cameron about his opinion on the biggest challenges for pop-ups, but surprisingly, he did not even consider Diners Union as one.
No, we never use the term pop-up. I think we have in kind of press materials and stuff, but as a brand, as it were, we don't use hashtags. We don't, hashtag shortage, hashtag food, hashtag, and all that kind of stuff. So, we try not sell the hype too much. We want people to come here because it's really good food, very low cost. They get to sit amongst, random different people and get speaking and just have a really nice environment to kind of wine and dine in, right? I think trying to break away from the traditional pop-up scene, I think is something that we were really keen on doing. So the idea of fixed price, different menu every week, the fact we do a new menu every week is extremely challenging.
A new menu every week does indeed seem like a lot of work, and there are unanswered questions about the feasibility of this business or charity.
So this is the kind of start of something. I think where we want to take Ronnie Saunders and particularly kind of Roland as a chef is a permanent location, because Diners Union always has to remain open. That was kind of one of our mission objectives when we started, whether it's in a car park in Rivington Street or fine dining restaurant or the back room at the Wolseley.
So we want to get Kickstarter going. We need to make a lot of money to take this into next year, because I want to open up a market for all our trainees. I want to take them to Glastonbury, and we're being offered opportunities to take this to Europe and stuff, which I think would be a great experience.
Sadly, these big dreams were temporarily put on hold, as I'm told today, due to problems with the venue and management. Perhaps this was a venture that started off too optimistically, but it is thanks to proprietors such as the lads from Diners Union that the term pop-up continues to create novelty experiences.